Hi everybody, this is a video, although a poor video quality. I apologize for that. I'm trying to get my webcam working. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about the road to independence for our little ones. Independence is one of those things that everybody wants for our kiddos. Parents want our kids to be independent. We want them to be able to move away from us and be successful. But even in the short term, parents might want their kids to be independent in cleaning their rooms, or independent in doing a chore, or independent in playing outside on their own while we're inside. As teachers, we definitely want our kids to be independent, to be able to, manage routines in the classroom independently without our constant guidance and redirection. We want them to be independent in solving tasks and problem solving and interacting with other people and having conversations. And kids from the get-go want to be independent too, right? They want to show that they can do things on their own. If you think even just from when kids are little toddlers and they're just learning how to walk, as soon as they figure it out, that hand comes away from the adult's hand and they're off and running, and they don't need that support anymore, and they don't want to hold mommy or daddy's or brothers or sisters' hands anymore. So it's a natural progression in life to move from dependence to independence. But in talking with parents and watching parents as they're working online with kids, and just watching some people, at the park, and I've just been doing lots of observing around that independence idea, I'm seeing that lots and lots of kids are maybe having the chance to be independent being removed from them, despite our best intentions. As as parents and as teachers, we want our kids to be great at things. We want them to be successful in things. We want them to get it or understand something. We want them to do what we're asking them to do. The problem is, though, that some of our actions are tending to get in the way of that success. Because I think time is the biggest issue. So in our society today, we are very cognizant of time. I think it's the biggest roadblock to a lot of things, but for sure to independence, because we're rushers now. We want things to happen quickly. We live in the world of instant gratification. We don't know what to do with downtime, a lot of us, right? When it's quiet time, or we tend to be bored. The kids tend to be bored, and then kids start to act out. And so we're feeling like we need to fill that time all the time. So I thought maybe I'd explore a little bit of that in the classroom too, and talk a little bit about how the best kind of learning happens. And so if you think back to some time when you learned something quite deeply, I'm guessing, and I know from my experience, that it's through some of those hardships, some maybe life obstacles that we've had to overcome, that we do our best learning, and that's when that learning really sticks, and we have those aha moments, and it feels really, really good to be able to have learned or understood something deeply. I think about my daughter, who has gone through the interview process. She certainly didn't get it the first time, and me telling her how to go about doing an interview didn't help at the very beginning when I was giving her direction about that and giving her my input. It didn't help. It was through the process over time that she learned how to be a positive interviewee and be successful in getting a job. But that took lots of dips, lots of emotions, lots of hardships, lots of searching and looking, and lots of trying and muddling about through different interviews, lots of feedback from people, and finally she got it. She was able to be successful. And that same thing happens with our kids too. I know it happens with me as an adult through learning how to teach through inquiry. It certainly didn't happen at the very beginning. And if somebody told me how to do it, it didn't work. I had to muddle through myself. I had to figure things out. I had to practice. I had to try different strategies and see what works. And still it doesn't work perfectly. So I'm still in that process of learning about it. But that's when the learning happens, is when you are working yourself in the depths of a struggle and trying to figure something out. You change your strategies, you listen to other people, you look at other people, you try different things out over time. And that's when the best learning happens. But because we are such rushers in our society, we're not affording our kids, I think, this is again my opinion, I don't think we're affording our kids the luxury of time to muddle through things and figure things out. Because we want our kids to succeed and we want things to look great, we want things to be perfect, we tend to rush into things and rush in and help and support. We think we're helping and supporting, but we're actually rescuing and we're actually doing for our kids. So I think about ideas with parents online. So if I'm asking a child to bubblegum stretch, that's our words for trying to sound out some words for writing. And as I say to the kids, okay, so what sounds do you hear? And then I hear the adult on the other side saying, it's a B, it's a B, it's a K, it's a C, write it down, write it down. No, that's the wrong one. It's an E, there's an E there, even though you can't hear it. And so parents are rescuing because they want the spelling to be perfect or because they want their child not to struggle. But struggling is where the learning happens. So even though we have the best intentions of trying to help and support our kids, I think we need to hold ourselves back. We need to find ways and strategies that we can hold back and not jump in and let the kids have time to think and problem solve and practice and muddle about and mess about with things. And if they're not right at the beginning. They'll figure it out as time goes on, because this whole learning idea takes time. They're not going to get it right away. And if they do, we're just spoon feeding them, and they learn just how to, if they're having a problem, they learn, I'm just going to go to mommy or daddy and they're going to solve it for me. And they don't become problem solvers themselves or able to manage things on their own. So we get into that dependency mode. So kind of, I know it's hard, that patient piece, being patient is hard. And having wait time, leaving wait time is really, really difficult. That those pregnant pauses are hard, because I know for me in a virtual class, especially when I've asked a big question and I'm waiting for somebody to answer, and then I wait and then I wait and I wait, and it's very uncomfortable. And I'm also thinking, I'm going to lose some of my kids because, I'm not talking, or there's not something going on. There's not something entertaining them right away. But I think it is a really necessary thing for our kids to be able to have that time just to mull about and think. Not everybody's going to be doing that, obviously, but the more we offer that opportunity, I think the more our kids are going to be able to react and perform and do the thinking and muddling about. So I'm kind of leading with these big questions. Big question today is, despite our best intentions, time is, I think, one of the biggest obstacles or roadblocks to that, to learning about how to be independent. We don't give enough time, we're rushed by it, and we don't seem ever to have enough time. So how can we adjust this? This is my big question. How can we adjust this? How can we fight the concept of time and let our little kids and learners have the time to think, plan, play around with things, manipulate things, mess about and figure things out? How can we do that through the concept of time, but also what can we do ourselves, for ourselves, or about ourselves to try to help that? Kind of how do we hold ourselves back from jumping in and doing and rescuing for our kids, so that we can let those kids struggle, we can let them practice, we can let them reflect on what they've done and alter things, so that they can become independent in their own learning and not rely on us all the time to do things. So that's something to ponder. I'm going to ponder some more on that too. And then my next video will be about some strategies that we can use, strategies that I do use in my classroom to try to help move towards independence, strategies that I use to talk to parents about, and strategies we use to talk to teachers about. All right, I hope that gives you some food for thought today, just even get you on the thinking train about independence, and you with your independence around learning, and even about reflecting about how you and your kids show independence in your classroom. And are you a roadblock to that, or are you a facilitator to help your kids down that road? All right, until next time.